Singles, you have tried your best. No one at church is only Sunday school. Married people in Sunday school are the only people that are in church. You have tried it. Hi guys, how are you? How are you singles? How are you my people? How are you guys doing? I hope you are well wherever you are. How are you everybody? Welcome. So today guys, I have a word for the singles, for me, okay? But see, even if you're not single, you can still find what I'm going to talk about helpful. So stay, okay? Take a cup of tea, coffee, because we're gonna be here maybe for the next 15 minutes or 20 minutes or something like that. Anyway, so guys, our story is going to start from Isaiah 60 verse 22. Do you know the verse? When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. I love the word of God. It's so comforting. You know, it's comforting. It brings hope to the hopeless. Okay, and this verse really and truly, I think as a single person, it does speak word. It does bring some comfort, you know, especially when you're a believer. Okay, but anyway, let's get into the word, right? Let's get into our story today. So this is the prophet Isaiah, okay? God spoke this word through the prophet Isaiah. And the prophet Isaiah here, he was prophesying of the future. He was prophesying of things to come. And this prophecy is accomplished or fulfilled in the book of Daniel. It's talking about the captivity of the children of Israel. We are back again, okay? Last week I spoke about it. But today I'm going to go into depth. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit of the story. Even though I've spoken about this story word by word, I think last year I did a story of Daniel. Okay, I talked about it, so I'm not gonna go into much depth. If you want to know about it more, you can dig some of my videos. You find it. Yeah. Okay, so this story is about the future, the children of Israel. Okay, God chose and empowered a Gentile, okay, a non-believer king named Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, he empowered this king and he made him to go to his people. Okay, he went to Jerusalem. Okay, so before I get there, let me just kind of tell you a little bit of history again. So, you know, the children of Israel is Jacob. Okay, so Jacob had 12 sons, and these 12 sons became tribes because these people were blessed by the gift of multiplication. Talking about family planning. So they were marrying each other, so they multiplied very quickly. The only way they could handle them is to put them in tribes, and these tribes represent the children, each son. Okay, so you know, Jacob had 12 sons, so you know, their sons, they had their own family, they multiplied, so they were now put in tribes, which you call the 12 tribes of Israel. So for years and years, these people were being managed by one king. But when King Solomon died, I think he was the last king. When King Solomon died, these 12 tribes, they start to fight. On power, like who should lead us. So this fight brought a division. Okay, so 10 tribes went to Israel and 2 tribes stayed in Judea. Okay, I think Judah and Benjamin stayed in Judea. So Jerusalem was capital city of Judah. Okay, it was close to Judah, so it was capital city of Judah. Then I think Samaria was the capital city of Israel at the time. But everybody, the people that are in Israel and the one that are in Judea, they would go to Jerusalem and worship. This is where the holy temple was, the temple that was prepared by David, the temple that was built by Solomon. It was in Jerusalem. They would bring gold, silver, everything. And this is where the king of Judah would stay, okay? The king of Judah would stay in Jerusalem, okay? So it was a very powerful city, a very holy city, a rich city, right? So for years and years and years and years, these people were sinning before God, okay? So God now prophesied through the prophet of Isaiah and telling them of what was going to come, the discipline that was going to come, okay? So back to the king of Babylon, back to Nebuchadnezzar. So God empowered Nebuchadnezzar, who then went to Jerusalem and destroyed it. He destroyed the temple. He took the gold, the silver, everything that was in the temple. He took it. He even captured the people, the young boys, the intelligent boys, and he put the king in chain. And Judea, Jerusalem was in exile. Okay. They didn't have king. King Nebuchadnezzar was ruling. Okay. He would put king in power. He would remove it. King in power. The people did not have any liberty, any power to vote. They were in exile, right? They were made powerless. This is now, okay, this is where my story now is starting, okay? The theme of this whole preaching is what? When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. That's what it is. When the time is right, God will make what? Will bring you your partner. That's what we are talking about. Do not lose it, okay? So now they're in exile. All hope is gone. Nobody can fight them because this king was very, very powerful. I mean, King Nebuchadnezzar was powerful. Nobody could fight him. Nobody was going to win because you know what? God was with them. Yes, God was with King Nebuchadnezzar. God can be with your enemies. You know that? But the good thing is, God was with King Nebuchadnezzar, but he was also with his people. God was also with his people. He was watching. You know when the Bible says God cannot give you too much that you cannot handle? Yes, he can't because he's watching over you. He is watching over you. He is monitoring how much the enemy can push you. Yeah? Anyway, all hope is gone. Guys, singles, you have tried your best. No one at church is only Sunday school. Married people in Sunday school are the only people that are in church. You have tried it. Online dating. Every date, every date night, like you find somebody you meet, it's a disappointment because these people are lying. You are finding out that they are married people on these sites. Married people, please have mercy on us. What's wrong with you people? What are you looking for on these sites? If it's not a married person, it's somebody who's lying about their age. A 50-year-old person is telling you that I'm 30. What is it exactly? You see the struggle that we are going through. We are in captivity. It's like captivity. Okay, so all hope is gone. You'll be like, God, so where am I going to find this person? Where? The children of Israel were like, God, where will our help come from? Our kings are powerless. They are made powerless by King Nebuchadnezzar. So where will our help come from? But guess what? All this thing that is happening, right? God put time on it. Yes, there is time on it. You say, God, let my singleness be on your calendar. Yes, God, let my singleness, please know about my singleness, God. Get to know, put it on the calendar so that when the date arrives, you, God, you show up. Yes. But anyway, guys, so they were in captivity, right? All hopes was gone. No one could help them. This king Nebuchadnezzar was not playing any game, because God had actually told the children of Israel, don't fight this king. Musarwe, don't fight him. If you fight him, you're going to be taken to Babylon. Because being in exile, some of them remained in Jerusalem, they remained in Judea, I don't know, yeah, but you know what I'm saying. They remained there, but they didn't have the power still. You know, Nebuchadnezzar was still in control, right? So they were powerless. But guess what? The time for God arrived. God says, when the time comes, I, the Lord, will make it happen. God's time arrived. The exile is ending according to God's time. Not because they cried day and night. Master, not because you fast. Not because you go and you are rebuking generational curse, or whatever. God put timer on that generational curse, because what these people were going through was generational curse. God put time on it. Yes, they were suffering the sins of their forefathers. Hezekiah and his kings they had sinned before God. And Isaiah prophesied, because Isaiah was the prophet of the old times. The prophet of this time, I think, was Jeremiah. Because when Daniel was praying, he said, God, I have heard from the prophet Isaiah, from history, that we, our forefathers, sinned before you. Your generational curse, they are timed by God. They don't have power. If God comes and intervenes, no generational curse will put an obstacle that, no, this one will not get married. In our family, nobody will get married. It's a lie. When God comes in the situation, every generational curse will bow down to the voice of God. Anyway, so the time came for the children of Israel to be rescued. There was no help, but guess what happened? So remember, this king Nebuchadnezzar was a Gentile, right? So another king, there was a fight among these Gentiles, these non-believers, right? So this kingdom of Babylon, another kingdom came into power, the kingdom of Mede and Persian. It came and overpowered. So this kingdom came into power, meaning that they are likely to do the same thing. They were not Jews, they were non-believers. So in the eyes of the Jews, the war was going to continue. But no, it was God's time. So what happened now? The king that was in power, was controlling or was leading the war of the Mede and Persian, was King Cyrus, right? King Cyrus. So with this king, God empowered him. He had love for the Jews. For no reason, he had love for the Jews. And what did he do? He said, I'm going to take you back to your homeland. King Cyrus took everything that was in the temple, in Babylon, the god of Nebuchadnezzar. Because Nebuchadnezzar, he took all this gold and silver that he had taken from Jerusalem and he put it in the house of his own gods, right? King Cyrus took all those things to Jerusalem and he encouraged all the Gentiles. He said, please give a gift of gold, silver, thanksgiving to these people. Give it to the Jews so that when they go back home, they can build their city. Listen, the Jews did not even have to do favors for King Cyrus. The Jews didn't do anything for King Cyrus to favor them. It was God's time. God entered King Cyrus, and King Cyrus was empowered to do God's work, to take these people back to Jerusalem. What am I saying? When the time comes, my sister, my brother, Your wife, you find her on the streets. You won't find her even in church or on this dating site that you're paying money. Your husband, sissy, every Sunday you are putting makeup, you're modeling. Your husband may not be there. Your husband may be in the supermarket. When the time comes, God will miraculously bring your person to you. That's what I'm saying. So, what you now have to pray for is that God, let my singleness be in your calendar. Let my singleness be in your calendar, so that when you enter into my situation, God, you make it happen. My sister, you are in a relationship. You are dating a boyfriend who abuses you, or you are dating a girlfriend who abuses you, my brother. It's not of God. That is not of God, because when the time is right, God will bring it and everything will just be perfect for you. So the prayer is, God, put me on your calendar. That's all I want to say to you guys. Stay blessed. I'll speak to you again later on. Bye-bye.